Cannabutter makers, infusers, decarboxylators. You know, no one really knows what to call these things, but these are the most popular cannabis kitchen gadgets available. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the Ardent FX, the Magical Butter MB2, and the Levo C, and we'll also be talking about the Levo 2 because it's also very popular, and I've got some things to say about it. I'm so excited to share with you everything I've learned over testing these for the past several years so that you don't waste any more money on a kitchen gadget you don't use. You know, like that Instapot that you only use to make sweet potatoes and rice? You had a pot for that. Hi there, my name is Corinne Tobias. I'm the founder of Wake and Bake and a cannabis educator. And it's actually my job to do this research and testing so that you can find the easiest, safest, healthiest ways to use cannabis and to bring this plant into your garden and into your kitchens and into your medicine cabinet, because that's where it belongs. And over the years, I found that the easier and faster that we can make this for people, the easier it is for them to do that. It makes sense, right? If you make something easy, it's easier. Now, when I was living on hippie commune farms and growing cannabis, and we had so much of it lying around, I would have told you that gadgets were absolutely unnecessary. And full disclosure, you can make great edibles and topicals and DIY products without using any gadgets at all. However, and this is a huge however, what we've learned over the past decade in terms of making edibles, activating our cannabinoids, and infusing things properly, having one of these gadgets can actually not just save you time and make things easier, but it can also save you anywhere from 20 to 40% of your plant material and of your money, especially if you're buying cannabis. So when it comes to gadgets, if you're only making 1 to 2 batches of brownies a year, and you're an occasional kitchen witch, I would say you're fine. Use the mason jar method that I teach in some of my other videos. You can infuse everything. It's all good. If you're growing your own cannabis and you've just got more to spare, it's just laying around. Actually, in that case, I would say get one of these so you can preserve it and actually use the cannabis you have laying around. But if you're like rolling in it and you don't care and you have endless time on your hands, then go for it. But if you want to save your time, your energy, and your money, and you want to make products that are amazing that either taste good or feel good or both, I recommend making ones that feel both. One of these gadgets is the clear winner. Will it be the Magical Butter 2, the Ardent FX, or the Levo? Dork. And in order to figure out which one would work best for you, I put together this checklist of things that I think are absolutely necessary when you're investing in a gadget. The first thing on that checklist is, does it decarboxylate or activate your cannabinoids? This is super important. If you don't activate your cannabinoids, or if you use one of our homespun methods, this is where you can lose a big chunk of money and waste your plant material. Activating your cannabinoids is the kind of nerdy thing to understand. I will have a video about decarboxylation soon, so if you want that, pop in the comments below so I'll know how soon I need to make that. The second part, does it decarboxylate and infuse in the same device? I don't know about you, but I am pretty over having huge piles of dishes at the end of making edibles and topicals and DIY products. I'm not into it. I want to be able to do it all in one go. And I want to make sure that any gadget that I'm going to invest in, I can just do it all in one. Throw my oil in there, hit a button, and then bonus points, throw it in the dishwasher. So that's the next check. Is it dishwasher safe? The other thing I'm looking for is, does it have a minimum amount of plant material? Because sometimes I want to experiment and make something with a small amount of plant material or small amount of oil. And how big of a batch can I make it? So does it make small batches and does it make big batches? And last but not least, does it make high quality oil? Like, is the oil that comes out of it going to taste good? Is it going to feel good? Is it going to be potent? Is it going to be activated? Is it going to check all the boxes? Okay, but before we check all the boxes, I want to give a quick overview on each device and what it does and how it works, just so you kind of have a lay of the land before we start ticking them off. Oh, hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this video, do me a favor and go ahead and smoosh that like button down below. That would be awesome. Thanks. This is the Magical Butter 2. I got my first Magical Butter back in 2013. This was my first baby. I'd been making edibles and I had a cookbook at that point, and I really was just learning and trying to figure things out. And I didn't want to love it because this is right when I was off the hippie commune and I was like, I don't need this thing, but I did love it. It made things so much easier. This was the only thing that was on the market at the time. There were no other infusers or decarboxylators or any of that kind of thing. And so when this came out, I was like, oh man, maybe this is the future. This is the future. So the Magical Butter is what I would call a masticating infuser. So it uses this blade device to chop up your plant material while it heats it up to a certain temperature for a certain amount of time. And it grinds all of that material up and then fills it into this stainless steel thing. So it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward device. On the top here, you have different temperature settings. And you also have different settings for oil, butter, so on and so forth. And then there's a clean mode. And this is a classic infuser. It is very old school. Now, honestly, I believe that this is an improvement over the homespun methods that I was using, but we'll talk about it in a minute, how this just hasn't kept up with the time. But it's still like my first baby. And now we're on to the Levo C. I got my first Levo back in 2016. And what was really exciting about the Levo 1 when it first came out was that it was billed as the Keurig of cannabis. You know, Keurigs, those things where you put the little pod in and then it makes you a cup of coffee. Well, the idea was that you would do the same thing. You put your plant material in, it would activate it or decarboxylate it for you, and then it would infuse it, and then you would hit a button and it would pour it into this little cup. And that sounded magical. Now, there were a lot of issues with the first one, and they quickly came out with the Levo 2, which is still in production today. So this is the Levo C. The Levo 2 is a different model. We'll talk about it a little bit. I actually didn't bring my Levo 2 in the move to Washington, and I'll explain why in just a minute here. But it's another very popular option, and we'll go over the benefits and drawbacks of that one as well as this one. I got introduced to Ardent Cannabis back in 2018 when they first came out with their Nova device. Now, the Nova device was incredible. It was the first lab-tested device that activated your plant material. Now, it didn't infuse, so for the longest time, I was using a Nova in combination with a Magical Butter in order to make my oil. What I loved about the Nova when it first came out, again, was that it was lab tested, showing that you were getting 97% of your plant material. But I also loved the company that developed it. And what I have grown to love even more is that they took everything from their first device and all of the feedback they got from readers and customers, and they kept improving and improving and improving until the FX was born. Now, I've had an FX for several years now, so it is a tried and true device in my kitchen, and I'm really excited to show you exactly how it works because it's really, really simple. So the Ardent uses just one button to switch between modes for decarboxylating, infusing, and baking. So the A1 setting covers CBG and THC plant material. The A2 setting covers CBD plant material. Infusing is to infuse any oil or butter. And then bake, but you can also bake in this as well. This is actually called the Easy Bake Oven for Grown-Ups by Mashable, which is cute. And it is cute. It's also a very good looking device. I think, again, one of my favorite things about the Ardent is that they just keep on improving it. They keep on adding to it. When we ask for stuff, when we're asking questions as people who make these kinds of edibles and DIY products at home, they go and they do the research, and not just on their own product, not just on like, hey, ours is better than other products out there. It's the kind of lab testing that those of us who make edibles and DIY products have always wanted to know, but we don't have access to a lab, so we haven't been able to test it. Like, what's the best oil for extracting cannabinoids? Or is vegetable glycerin a good thing to use to extract cannabinoids? That one was surprising. They really go above and beyond in trying to answer all of the questions that we have and to continue to make better and better products. Now, I have right on here right now, this usually has a normal lid, but I was just about to strain some oil before I did this review. And this has the infusion press on it, which helps you get all the oil out of your infusion without making a big old mess. This is a new accessory that they came out with. This thing is rad, and it just keeps getting better. Honestly, after years of using it, they keep adding things to it that can make it better. It's really an all-in-one device, so it's pretty cool. But I am giving away this review. Stay tuned to find out which one is the best. All right, so now you know how each one of them kind of works. We're gonna go through the checklist, and we're gonna see which one ticks all the boxes. Yes, the Levo does decarboxylate. The thing to know about Levo decarboxylation is that it's really up to you what time and temperature that you use to decarboxylate your plant material. So you'll hit activate, but you'll have control over the temperature of your decarboxylation and the temperature of your infusion. Now, I think it's awesome that you can really customize things, but I also do think it leaves things kind of up in the air, makes things a little more complicated than they need to be. I was doing a decarboxylation video and I made a decarboxylation guide with the temperatures and times on them just because I kept forgetting them all the time. And even just saying them in the video, I was like, wait, what was CBG again? How long was that? It took forever. So knowing that you can decarboxylate at any temperature is great, but it's also kind of a drawback to me because I have to remember what it is. Plus, I've never seen a lab test from Levo. If you guys have one, please share it with me because I would love to see what temperatures work best in your device so that I could use it and know that I'm getting a good decarb every time. So I'd love to see that, but it does decarb. Nope, the Magical Butter does not decarboxylate. Now they do have a separate accessory that you can buy called the Decarbox. It's like a little silicone box, plastic thing that, not plastic, silicone. Is silicone and plastic the same thing? I don't know. Fancy plastic that you can put in an oven. You have control over the time and the temperature. So it does include that. It is a little bit of an extra cost, which we'll talk about here in just a minute, but it does not decarb in the device. Yes, the Ardent FX does decarb, as I mentioned before, and it decarbs to a 97+%, which means that you're getting almost full activation every single time. You're not wasting any of those cannabinoids. Way to go, Ardent. Can you make small batches? There's a minimum line on here. This is the smallest batch that you can make. So one of the things about the design in the Levo 2 and the Levo C that has always been tricky for me and that I've heard from other readers that they don't really love is that the infusion pod is vertical. So you can really only put as much plant material in there as, like you're getting like a third of the way. So you can't really do those like one-to-one fully saturated for making super potent oils. And one of the reasons I like making super potent oils is that I can thin it out, or I could use it extra strength for topicals. Like I prefer to make a stronger oil off the get-go and then make it lighter in recipes, if you know what I mean. So this kind of is a drawback, I think, for the Levo, is that you have to make a lot of it and you can't do like some one-to-one ratio oils. It is limited there. The Magical Butter also has a minimum fill line because it needs this agitator to work. Well, it sounded like I was unsheathing a sword. I'm going to battle. Okay. I don't know if you can see that minimum fill line right in there. Yeah, you can see it. So it's quite a bit. You have to have quite a bit of plant material and quite a bit of oil to make a batch in the Magical Butter. I feel like I'm playing favorites. I am. The other two aren't supposed to know. Yes. You can do small batches in the Ardent FX. It's one of the reasons I love it, because I love experimenting with small batches. You can put a gram of cannabis or hemp flower and you can do an ounce of oil or butter. So a very small amount so that you can do test runs. That way, before you make a huge batch, you can do a smaller batch and see if you like the effect. Enough of teeny tiny batches. What about the big batches? What if you want to make your CBD oil for 6 months? What if you want to make salve for your entire family for Christmas? Don't tell my family. It's what they're getting again this year. Which ones handle large amounts? Actually, the answer is they all do. They all handle large amounts really well. Again, the Levos are a little trickier because while they'll do a large batch, you can't do as much plant material. The Magical Butter, you can do a pretty decent size amount of both. That max line there. Oh, you can't see that? I honestly don't know exactly how much that is. I'll put it below if I remember to look it up. Or if I don't, hit the comment section and then I will tell you there. But the Ardent FX does 28 ounces of liquid and 4 ounces of plant material. So it holds a lot. All right. And one of the most important questions, does it make high quality oil? Is the oil going to taste good, be fully activated, and be potent, right? In whatever way you use that word, right? It can be potent in CBD as well. We want to make sure that we're getting the most out of our plant material because it's expensive. You're going to buy a device to save money. You're going to want some good oil, right? I would say that the Levo does a good job at making high quality oil. Again, there's a lot of unknowns because it's not tested and you have a lot of control over things, but it definitely produces a golden oil. It does the job. It works. It works to make good, flavorful oil. Now, I hate to say it because I'm a Midwesterner and we are taught that if you have nothing nice to say, you don't say anything unless you're talking about people from Indiana because they're the worst. No. Wisconsin, we're looking at you. We're always talking smack, cheeseheads. Okay. However, I truly don't believe that this makes a great oil. This masticating infuser really grinds things up, making your oil so green. I actually just went back to my parents' house in Colorado and I'd left one of these there so that I could come over sometimes and make them giant batches of salve. And when I was making it and when the oil came out, I was actually really thankful that I wasn't making edibles because I was like, ooh, this oil is green and it is stanky and it is pungent. I really don't think it makes a great high quality oil. Magic Butter lovers know that I feel you. I've had one of these for 12 years and it does make life easier and it is better than some methods, but I really don't think it does make a high quality oil. And again, it doesn't decarb. We really don't know what the potency is. Nothing's ever been lab tested in it. I'm not trying to throw shade, but it makes some green oil, some grassy green oil. It's not very tasty. And it's unnecessary. You don't need to do that. You do not need to agitate your plant material. Talk about this some in other videos. So if you've seen those, this might sound like I'm beating a dead horse, like I would ever do such a thing. I'm a Midwesterner. We can't even say mean things, let alone beat dead animals. It's so weird. What a weird thing to say. Why am I saying such weird things? Okay. But it is absolutely unnecessary to grind up your material. All you're getting in there that's extra is the leaf material, which you're kind of trying to get out in the first place, right? That's the reason we extract, the reason we go through the process of putting our cannabis in fat or in alcohol is to remove the resin, remove the medicine from the plant itself, and to leave the plant behind. When you grind it all up, you're just getting small particulate matter. It's unnecessary. It doesn't taste great. It doesn't add to the medicinal value, arguably. And you just don't need to do it. So just break up your buds. You're fine. And last but not least, the Ardent FX. Does it make a high quality oil? Absolutely. It doesn't masticate. It doesn't churn it up. So you're still getting that golden oil. Plus it's lab tested. Plus you can do CBD, CBG, THC all in the same device. And it pours out. If you get the infusion press, which love this thing, you can just push it and pour out this golden oil. You don't even have to worry about straining it. It makes it a really high quality oil and it's beautiful. So it's a high quality oil. High quality. High quality. And again, I'm not trying to throw shade at these other things, but if you are trying to save money by buying one of these devices and making this investment, I don't want you to waste any money. I really don't. Now, speaking of money, I'm sure that's the question on your mind. How much scratch are these things going to cost me? Let's break it down. As of the time of publishing, I went on Magical Butter's website and this device is $275. The Levo C is $299 and the Levo 2 is listed at $399. The Ardent FX is typically $299 as well, but here's the big but. I know you like big butts and you cannot lie. What am I saying words for? I got together with Ardent because I knew I was making this video and we put together a smoking deal for you that makes this decarboxylator cheaper than all of the other decarboxylators. And because you're a Wake and Bake viewer, I'm gonna throw in instant access to the Wake and Bake cookbook and lifetime access to the edibles dosage calculator. So if you go and get one of these, you have everything that you need to get started and start making things in your own home, saving money, making healthy edibles that are amazing. Now, I hope you found this gadget comparison video helpful. Please let me know if you did in the comments below. And also let me know if you have any questions that you'd like answered about cannabis, health, being a cannabis educator, whatever. I'm here for it. I'm on YouTube. I'm making stuff for you. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ask your questions below and I will get them answered right now because I'm not going to be slaving over edibles in a pot. Bye. Edibles in a pot. What a weirdo.